Hi, Stanijevic. It's Aussie. You're sorry about the back pass and the missed penalty. Yeah, mate, look, I do appreciate the apology, believe me, but I'm still going to have to sell you, mate. Why? I mean, why do you think, mate? I can't look at you, never mind pick you to play.
Synker sammen til segerstråpen Malta Grindavik. Og jeg vet, hvis vattnen ger I dag.
Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Grindavik on the Impossible Dream. It is a transfer special today as we move from Season 12 into Season 13, which cannot possibly be more unlucky than what we just had happen to us this season. And, well, this is our club atmosphere. As you can see down here, Stanijevic is unhappy at being touted around at other clubs. No one wants him. Anybody who saw that game would not want him, of course, against Marseille. I can't look at him. I just am so... He's just breaking my... It's broken my heart. You've upset me, Stanijevic. I just think I need to get rid of him. Which might be cutting off my nose to spite my face a little bit because we really do need him to play left back and potentially right back as well if Volpez leaves. But yeah, I just can't. I think he needs to go. But anyway, we've got a busy summer coming up. It's going to be one of juggling finances as well. We had lost 53 million last season, 4 million this season. We do have 14 million to spend. That is mostly down to the fact that we've sold Conde. He will be off whenever the window opens in continental Europe. We have about 180 grand a week we can spend on wages. We don't necessarily want to spend that. We need to be bringing that down, I think. I think a big part of the money that we're losing here, if we look at expenditure, if we go and have a look at where's wages, it's right down the bottom here. So if we look at this, last season, for example, 23 million on wages, which is better because we've ticked over the season, even though it's sort of technically the start of the season for us. So 23 million in wages last season. Now, if we're going to have a look at our gate receipts, and I always think that is roughly, what needs to be sort of parallel. It was 3 million. Even prize money, Champions League prize money, only just covered it. So I think the wages are what is letting us down a little bit right now. We do have an expanded stadium coming, so that should help us get more money in. I mean, even if you add the season tickets, it's 300,000. So I mean, there's a lot of numbers here to look at. But generally speaking, I just think that we just need to. We need to cut back on the wages a little bit. But anyway, let's get this show on the road and see what we can do. All right, a very, very quick update. Our Finance the League campaign, it has, we've sold on one guy, Olofsson. Now, he was someone who looked like he could be useful. He's not trained on at all, despite having a season with us as a professional player. So Rosenberg came in for him. We got 400 grand. Now, I think we signed him for 750. I mean, I'm not too concerned about it because the money wasn't about getting a good fee. We purposely overpaid, so we got almost half of it back, but then to get half of that will go to FH as well, so they've got almost £1 million for the centre back. And yeah, well, we'll see what happens as we go here, but that is mission to finance the league. That's a pretty good effort, I'd say. Almost £1 million. Alright, a little bit of squad cleanup to catch you up on here with Preben Astadi leaving for Santander, Racing Santander. We've got just over 500,000 plus 40% of the next fee. Now, he's still a good player, but we have Snyder and Bogvatsons, another young right back. It just means that he's not really playing, so there's no point keeping him. Not that he's on ridiculous wages, only on 3 grand a week, 3.5 grand a week. We paid a little bit more than that for him, but we've got a few seasons out of him, and hopefully with the 40% sell-on, we will get our money back. But yeah, he's been a good player. He is club trained as well, but ultimately we just aren't using him enough, so there's no point keeping him. Okay, another Finance the League update. We have sold Sigurdsson. We signed him for 500,000 from Vikinga. We've sold him for 375 grand. Half of that again will go to Vikinga. So, I mean, it's moving, isn't it? We are slowly getting some money back into the league. Ideally, I would have liked to sell these guys for a little bit more, but they weren't really developing. So I think it's best, honestly, to sell them now while the teams still see a bit of potential. And maybe we'll get... that is what we're going to get, because I don't think there was a sell-on for him. So, yeah, we'll keep trying to ship these guys out for as much money as we can. Hello, is this Finance? It's Aussie Villain. I'm good. Look, I know I said I was going to bring down wages by selling Volpez, but here's the thing. He's really good, right? So, Yeah, he's signed a contract extension. So Volpez stays. Simple as that. He became happy. He wasn't upset at having to leave anymore. So he signed an extension. We have crucially got rid of the minimum release fee. So that's huge. The money's actually about the same. I don't think he was roughly on 82 grand a week before this. So I just think it makes sense to do. We can sell him if we can still sell him if we want. He's still got a lot of clubs that are interested in him, though mostly on loan now, it looks like. I just think as a right back, I think he's really, really good. There's not going to be many better right backs around. There will be some, obviously, but not at the level that we're at. So I wanted to keep him. If he's happy to stay, I'm happy to keep him. And so that's that. We'll have to try and save some money somewhere else. So another contract extension to catch you up on. Beyonce is staying 34 grand a week, which is a little bit of a pay rise for him. I thought he did really well last season playing on that left-hand side, even though he is right-footed. We don't really have any other left-sided players in the squad right now, so it makes sense to keep him on that front. And yeah, 34 grand a week. We can afford that. It's when we start getting up over 50 grand a week that we start to run into problems, I think. But I think that's a fairly good deal. It's a fairly good deal. His contract was coming up. Same with Volpez. They were coming up at the end of not this season, but the end of next season. So sort of 2 years left. And yeah, so we're just getting these guys signed up for the foreseeable. We have breaking news this evening out of Grindavik as the club are set to announce their second signing of the window, with manager Aussie Villain about to address the media. Yeah, look, I mean, I'm very, very happy with the squad depth we have right now, particularly up front, where we have 3 amazing options, really, really strong up front. And now we have 4. We now are extra strong up front because I've signed another striker. That's correct, we play with 1 striker up front. Okay, so we have signed another striker. Yes, we have 3 very good ones already. Did we need another one? No. Could I resist this? Absolutely not. £1 million from, let's go with Haugesund. I believe they're a Norwegian side. 17-year-old, promising striker, and he's on 8 grand a week as a squad player for now. Now, there were quite a few other clubs that were in for him. Marseille was one, so just out of spite, I wanted to sign him in place, so he didn't go there. But let's go and have a quick look at him. We will get Rafferson to welcome him to the club. And this is our new striker. He is very, very good for 17 years old. Very good finishing, good technique. Passing is good off the ball. Could use some work, as could composure and anticipation. Physically, I mean, he will get better. Again, he's only 17. But for £1 million, I just feel like it was a no-brainer. He likes to round the keeper. We're going to train him to place his shots as well. His career to date, he already has 1 cap, 1 goal for the Norwegian national side. And yeah, I mean, you could argue he's the new Haaland, and hopefully he's even better than that when we get him. So yeah, he's played 2 seasons in the Norwegian league as a 17-year-old, has 19 goals. I'm going to say it's a fairly good return. And yeah, I'm quite pleased to get this one done, and could be the next Tor Andre Flo. There's one for the kids. I barely remember him. So they've been waiting a long time for the next Tor Andre Flo, haven't they? How tall is he? 195. Wow. I didn't realize he was that tall. So he's an absolute monster. He'll be good in the air for us. We work on some strength. And I'm actually probably more excited about this signing now than I have been, because if there's one thing we haven't really had, it's a presence in the box aerially. And, well, we've got ourselves a complete forward here, don't we? All right, we have a new signing. It is a left-back. It is Jeffrey Weir. And yes, this is a sign that Stanijevic will be leaving. I'm trying to get him out. I really, really am. But 600 grand from Tottenham, I believe. Yeah, from Spurs. So a really good fee, I think, for a promising left-back. He's on 9.5 grand a week. We had to do that because there's a little bit of other interest in him. So still not too bad. It's less than what Stanijevic is on. He's signed as a future prospect, but that is just so he doesn't have to play him, basically. Realistically, he's coming in to be back up to Giacchini, and yeah, I think he's going to do okay. The obvious is jumping reach. He's not the greatest in the air, but he does have a decent amount of strength, so I'm hoping, at least he'll hold his own if there is any sort of aerial battles coming, even if he can't jump. But he can tackle, he can cross, his dribbling's not too bad, and he's only 18, so there's definitely room for him to improve as well. Hasn't played a game for the Spurs first team, but I think he will do well for us, so let's certainly hope he does. Now, we have been playing that League Cup, that Preseason League Cup. Now, we started it while we were playing Marseille, I think actually before we started playing Marseille, so a little while ago now. That was against IBB, our first game, so let's see how that went. Bodvarsson cross for Obot to open the scoring. before Obot picked out Bjornsson to make it 2-0. So we controlled the game. Yeah, it's hard to think all the way back to when this game was played, to be honest. It was a while ago now, but obviously it was not a first-choice team. We had Puyol in goal trying to get him fit, ready for Marseille. And yeah, back in the days when I still liked Stanijovic. Anyway, next up, it was Leitner. And we could still be playing Leitner now, and we still wouldn't have scored. It was one of those days. This took place in between the two Marseille legs, I believe. Arulason, who was one of the where we paid over the price from, I think it was IA for him. He had an absolute shocker. And yeah, there wasn't too much positive to say about this one. It was just a little bit of a garbage game, to be honest. All right, next up, it was Hauke. Obot picked out Kruzliak's run to give us the lead. Obot and Kruzliak combined again for our second. And Obot was the provider again as Medina made it 3-0 at half-time. Before Obot got himself on the score sheet. And Stanijovic crossed for Kruzliak to make it 5-0. So we were just far too good for them. You can see on the XG tracker there, it was dominance from pretty much go to woe. Obot, who I'm still trying to sell, probably more actively at this point than I am right now. And yeah, it made me reconsider, I've got to say. Kruzliak, it looks like he got a hat-trick, he did. And yeah, a really good performance this one. And Stanijovic forcing him to play because he was rubbish against Marseille. Anyway, next up it was Vikinger. Now, we dropped points to Leitner. Vikinger, I think at this point, had a draw as well. So this was very much, who's going to take probably the spot to go into the semi-finals. So, big game. Let's see how it went. Jonsson played in Bautensen to open the scoring. Milosevic's solo effort made it 2-0. Before Obot found Bautensen for our third. So a really good performance this one. They did have their chances. They had one of them, as you can see there, but they did have their chances. Yeah, if you're wondering why Obot is playing so much, basically it's because Beyonce and Jofferson, who would be the other two options on the left wing there, they've both been injured. So he's really the only fit left-sided winger that we have. So that's why he's been playing pretty much every game, but playing well. And that's always good to see, isn't it? So that meant we had HK in our final game. Anything other than a loss, a draw, was all we needed to get through. So let's see if we could do that. Obot's poor pass let HK in for the only goal. I'm still not convinced the guy that got the goal wasn't offside from that one. But anyway, it was their only chance. We should have won the game. Bautensen had a stinker. And we just... yeah, could probably still be playing, wouldn't have scored a little bit like the Leitner game, only on this occasion we didn't keep a clean sheet. So, disappointing, but goal difference meant that we were still able to get through ahead of Vikinger, so that meant we had a semi-final against Folgner. Allmarkson played in Skojan for his first Grindavik goal. But Folgner were level at half-time. Jonsson picked out Bautensen to restore our lead. Before Giacchini found Rickardsson to seal the win. So this was a really tough game for us. Now, we did go with this diamond formation. The reason for that, they were playing 4-4-2. Dagbajatsen formerly and Hadartsen, two of our former players, were playing for them. But I figured out kind of by mistake against Marseille. I think we actually match up better against a 4-4-2 playing like this. Now, if you're wondering who the hell Rickardsson is that got the third goal there, this is him here. He is one of the Finance the League players we got from FH. And yeah, he's training on very well. He's not worth too much right now, although there is some interest in him. I think there's a decent player there, which is why I signed him actually from FH, because we did have a couple of their guys we could have taken. And yeah, so let's see what we can get him up to by playing him, is my train of thought on that one. But that meant we had the final to come now. We've won this competition for a few years in a row now. It was Frem in the final this year. A great team goal was finished by Raoul to put us ahead. Jonsson played in Bautensen for our second. And the defence parted for Bautensen to make it 3-0. Before Jonsson found Seema to make it 4-0 at half-time. Bautensen found Seema for our fifth. before Seema combined with Johnson for Baltonton's hat-trick. Johnson's stunner made it 7. And Baltonton made it 8-0. But Fram pulled one back late on. So not much of a final, was it? Absolutely destroyed them. It was, it was honestly felt like every highlight we were going to score, and to be honest, we did for the most part. Baltonton, Seema all in the goals. Jonsson had a stonking game. Pavas has been playing at the sort of the base of midfield there and been doing a decent job of it. He's the guy, of course, we signed to replace Conde, and look at him training on like a house on fire as well. So yeah, a little bit to like about what we've seen so far through pre-season. But now we've got to keep going now, make sure we're at our best, hitting our form when European football starts. We have breaking news out of Iceland this evening, as there is pandemonium on the streets of Grindavik as news of the transfer of Stenijovic reaches the people. Now we have local reporter Chaz Hogan on the scene. Yeah, thanks, mate. Look, the drinks are absolutely flowing in celebration of the news, and, I'm just going to sign off here before I become a meme. Cheers. Hooray! We did it. We got rid of him, and I think we've made a little profit on it as well. Benfica are the team that he will no doubt go on and just achieve magical things with. We've got 3.8 up front, another 825 grand if he plays 50 games, and a little sell-on, and we've got a friendly that they have to accept as well. I just completely regret signing him. I was trying to get 7.5. We paid 3.5 for him. So ultimately, we've made a profit on an absolute muppet. So I guess we'll take that, won't we? But yeah, good riddance, mate. May we never speak of you again. All right, now we are coming towards the end of the episode. We have had our youth intake preview, and below average doesn't look good. And maybe sillily, I have just said a word. Anyway, I've just signed Jozak to a long-term extension. So yeah. We'll see what we get. Hopefully it's a little bit better than the preview suggests. Now, we've also played our Charity Shield equivalent. It was against Breedablink this year, so let's see how we went. Lars Deggen gave us the lead. Milosevic crossed for Beyonce to make it 2-0. Before Daphna got our third. So a decent game. Nothing more than that, I would say. It was more or less what I would consider our best 11 out there right now, give or take 1 or 2. And it was okay. I would have liked to have scored a few more not from set pieces as well. But ultimately, early season, match sharpness isn't what it could be, obviously. And it was a comfortable win. So that is that. Now, let's have a look and see the team we have to start the season. We should probably start with a quick recap of exactly what we have done. We didn't spend a fortune. We didn't have a fortune to spend, but 10 million anyway on players. Giacchini, 7 million is part of that. But a couple of players that have left that I may have missed out on here. Free, you can see the free transfers there. Jensen, we already knew he had left. Where did we pick up here? So we sold this guy for 100 grand. Which I still can't believe we got that much for him. I think he was an academy player. Olofsson went away to Rosenborg for 500,000, so that was a good fee. And then we also sold Sigurdsson, went off to Gardens for 375. So we brought £1 million back in, which isn't too bad. But of course, if we go to future transfers, we've got money coming in for Stenijevic, 2.9 up front. We've got the 12.75 coming in up front for Conde. And we've also got 250 grand up front coming in for Astadi. There's add-ons there to increase those fees as well. So we have sold a little bit to bring some extra money in. So overall, this window is going to mean that we've actually sold more than we've spent. So we had to do that. We had to try and get finances back under control. And have we done that? Well, we are still 7 million in debt, but we've got that money to come in yet, which hasn't actually, come into the club. So that should take us back also positive this season, but also obviously therefore above the red. And we've still got 14 million to spend. We've still got about 150 grand a week to spend on wages if we want to. I think the committed spending is less than that. I think that actually includes the players that we're currently paying who have already been agreed to be sold. So that should help us there. And FFP, it should hopefully get us back to where we need to be, because we're currently just under 13 million, projected to be 16 million. We've made that in transfer sales, so fingers crossed that is all going to be that. Now, the squad planner. And let's have a look at this. Our 2 goalkeepers, Rafferson, well, he's actually the backup, isn't he? It's going to be Puwal, who signed an extension to be our number 1 for the foreseeable future. So that's all good. 27 grand a week for him is absolutely fine. If we go and have a look at left back, Giacchini is the number 1 man. And we've brought Jeff Weir in to be his backup. We've got a couple of basically left-footed centre-backs who can cover in if we need to. Hopefully, they won't be needed. Over to right back, Volpez stays in the end. So yeah, that is a big chunk of wages going out there. Juleson will continue to be his backup, and it's actually 7 million. I tell you what, it's probably worth selling Juleson for 7 million if we can get that, because we've got Bodvarts in here, who is fairly highly rated to be a backup. We've also got Snyder, who's come through our academy as sort of the young right back that's coming through, and then Daphne Mazuros. Mazuros is in all likelihood going back after his loan. We can't really convince PSG to loan him back, and they want 30 million for him, so that's not going to happen. As far as centre backs go, Degen has stayed as well. Yeah. I the 2 that I said I was going to sell, I didn't, did I, in the end? He's wanted by a few teams, Burnley, amongst other big teams like Marseille and Bayern Munich and Atletico Madrid. Why Burnley is first? It can't be alphabetical order because Bayern Munich's there, unless they go with Munich. Is that maybe? No, because it's Atletico Madrid. Anyway, don't know why Burnley's top. Maybe they have the most money. Daphne is sort of the other first-choice centre-back. Unison, Mazuros is here for now. You can see he will be leaving basically before Europe starts. We've got Nezarovic, we've got Mortensen, and then the rest there are sort of... Oh, we've still got this guy as well. Nusanen is at Parma on loan. Of course, we did that for financial reasons more so than footballing reasons. So we'll see what happens. He can come back in and be a good centre-back for us as well. When the European window opens up again, we will probably look at centre-back and think that we need somebody. I don't know if we're completely happy with Daphne being first choice in Europe, are we? He's okay as a backup. But yeah, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with him being Degen's partner just quite yet. Defensive midfielders, Jonsson is going to be the first choice here this season with Conde's departure. Arneson is a young player that's come through the academy that is capable of playing here, but Pavas will be the man that we're long-term looking to move into this role, and he's done well since he came into the club. Gisarasen is another academy boy that is doing okay, and then Turpinson, we all know about him, been here forever, and Fredrickson is a young player that's come through the academy, has a little bit of potential about him, so he's going to be in the first team squad this year, and we'll see some of him anyway. Don't know how much we'll see, but hopefully he will train on nicely. A little bit further forward in midfield, and I've just lumped everybody into here. Bakali obviously is just one of the stars of the team, and Raul, they'll be pulling the strings for us in this role. Jonsson, we've already seen, can play up here, as can Arneson. Allmarkson still around as well, still doing a good job when we need him to. Who's he wanted by, just out of curiosity? OB, so not a major team. The other 2 youngsters, Bjornsson is an academy kid, as is Gattuson. Again, I think when we come back and the European window opens, we're probably going to look at midfield and say we're too thin. We need 1, possibly even 2, to be back up to Bakali and Raul. If one of them's missing, there's not a lot to come in, is there? So yeah, that's probably something we'll need to look to do. If we have a look at the left side of midfield, or the left wing, Beyonce is first choice. He did well there, I thought, last year, so I wasn't too desperate to sign anybody. Obot, I have tried to sell him. We've got him there for 3 million now to try and get a bit of a bidding war going and hopefully go up. You can see there's a lot of interest in him. If we could get 5-6 million for him, I think there's options that we could bring somebody else in that is as good, if not better. But he's not terrible, and that's sort of the problem, isn't it? He's not terrible. Jofferson is the academy option. Now he's up at the end of this year, his contract. He does have a extension we can trigger, so don't worry too much about that. We're not going to lose him for nothing. Bakali can play out here, and one of the academy kids that we've let go out on loan to Breeder Blink is Bjornsson. Hopefully he helps them do well in Europe. Over to the right hand side, this is our real position of strength, because between David Koch, he was a Australian TV personality. I probably called him David Koch several times, but between Mark Koch and Milosevic, there's not too much to split them. They're both very, very good. It's a shame one of them doesn't play on the left. Maybe we could try that. Medina is the academy option. He was a promising winger at one point. We're trying to give him game time where we can, but maybe not quite training on as well as we'd hoped anymore. And up front, well, we have maybe it's better than the right side of midfield, actually. Bautinson, 22 now, and he's probably wanted by every club again. No, just Paris Saint-Germain. Krusliak was brilliant for us last year. Sima is going to have a big year for us this year. I'm fairly confident in that. And, of course, one of the new signings is Skojan. And at 17, I think he is a potential star of the future as well. And Milosevic could play back here if we need it, or up there if we need him to, which we won't because we have 4 strikers for 1 position, basically. So that is how we stand. Financially, we're okay, head above water. On the field, let me know what you think. I think when the window reopens, I think we probably need 1 or 2 midfielders, central midfielders. We probably need another centre-back. And the left side of midfield, we could probably do with some strengthening there as well. That's what I think. Let me know what you think. And we'll be back next time to get the season underway. We will be away to Paul. We will be at home to Grotta in a game where we won't be able to tell the teams apart because of the stupid kit clash. But we'll do what we always do. We'll change up the 11. We might even stick a goalkeeper up front against Grotta and see what we can do there. Can Rafferson score for 2 seasons in a row? We'll find out next time. Take care.